Ladies and gentlemen, scoundrels of all ages, welcome back to Modern Weekly. Today on the docket, we have two of the mainstays of the format. One that had been recently hit with bans, the other, a deck that has benefited generally from those bans. Of course, we are talking about the prominent Cascade deck in the format, and Crashing Footfalls, also known as Cascade Rhinos, and the other being Rakdos Scam. Of course, the card that has been banned out of the Scam deck, that was the most significant ban, of course, was Fury, printed in Modern Horizons 2. However, the ban that didn't happen, that has kept this deck alive, is the fact that Grief is still in the format. Yes, we'll be seeing that card later here. And of course, the Cascade Rhinos deck, playing cards that have the text Cascade on them to cascade into Crashing Footfalls, while also being able to hold up interaction against their opponent. As we see here, both players choosing whether to keep or mulligan. Our Cascades player here, Aaron, he is arguably one of the most wonderful, obnoxious playmats in the area. Try not to get lost in it too much. And of course, Aaron is also one of the mainstays here in the modern community. And playing Scam, we have Paul, who is qualified for RC Denver. Looks like he's starting off with a tapped Blood Crypt here to start game one off. Misty Rainforest for the Cascade player. Looks like we have a Swamp. Into a Dothy Voidwalker. One of the strongest cards in this deck. We see the Cascade player here fetching to get the Ketria Triome. Looks like we got a Wooded Foothills and a pass here. Another Swamp for the Rakdos player. Into Thoughtseize. Response from Cascade dismembering the Dothy Voidwalker. Putting our score to 15 to 18. Thoughtseize resolving. Difficult decision here. Looks like we are taking the Shardless Agent. One of the critical components of the Cascade deck. Looks like we have a fetch here. bringing our score to 14-18. Getting the tap breeding pool. Untapping and drawing. Island into play. And a pass. And there is the card Grief as we talked about earlier. One heck of a card. Essentially a Thoughtseize on a stick. In a lot of ways better. Looks like we have a response. Yep, there is the Violent Outburst. Key text on that card is Cascade at instant speed, hitting the Crashing Footfalls. We'll get 2/4/4 Rhinos. And the Grief is resolving. Still quite the hand there for the Cascade player. Looks like we have another Crashing Footfalls and a couple of Tishana's Tidebinders. And Paul went ahead and named it Tishana's Tidebinder. It goes to the graveyard and plays a Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. One of the breakout cards of the last couple years. Creating the 2/2 Goblin token on its first chapter. Looks like we got a cycled Lorien revealed. And of course that Goblin token is a menace in itself. The fact that it creates a treasure on attack and in fact is a Goblin Shaman token. As we resolve the island cycle. And an attack for 8. Bring our score to 14-10. And we're scooping it up. Game 1 going to Cascade Rhinos. A quick reminder, while our players are shuffling up here, making sideboarding decisions, to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be putting out a video every Monday and sometimes Sunday evenings moving forward with the occasional bonus episode. Key cards in this matchup coming out of the board. definitely engineered explosives for the Rakdos Scam player. And the Cascade deck, Dead Gone, Fire Ice. Also, just wanted to let you know, if you look in the description below, you will find timestamps for this episode, so you can move forward to Game 2 a little bit faster if you'd like. And we'll be adding that to previous episodes and future episodes as well. Definitely let us know in the comments below what decks you think are currently the best in the modern format. As of right now, it's pretty easy to say that Rakdos Scam is still one of the best decks in the format despite the Fury banning. And of course, Rhinos doing its thing consistently. Alright, both players doing their final shuffle ups here to resolving mulligans. Looks like Cascade here is going to 6. And it looks like it was a keep for our Rakdos scam player. And looks like we will keep the 6. Alright. Game on here. Untapped Blood Crypt for Rakdos Scam. Into a Grief. Pitching Grief. Looks like we have a Subtlety in response. Right, Island Go from Cascade. Grief going back to hand for the Rakdos Scam player. Bloodstained Mire on the battlefield. For land for turn, cracks it. Now it's 17. It looks like we will see a Dothy Voidwalker get played. In response, looks like we got a Lorien revealed for the island cycle. Finding a steam vents. All right. And a Grief. Pitching a Not Dead After All. Interesting position here. Taking the Shardless Agent, which of course gets exiled underneath Grief. Or excuse me, underneath Dothy Voidwalker. And there is a Dismember, bringing our life totals to 16, 17, killing the Dothy Voidwalker. The Dismember getting exiled. Looks like we have a Mr. Rainforest into a fetch. For a forest, bringing us to 15, 17. Steam Vents untapped, bringing us to 13, 17, and passing the turn. And looks like we have a Thoughtseize cast here by the Scam player. Looks like Violent Outburst in response. Into Crashing Footfalls and making 2 4/4s. Last card in hand being the Tishana's. And that'll be taken by the Thoughtseize. Engineered Explosives, the play here. Looks like we got a suspended Crashing Footfalls and an attack in for 8. Bringing us to 7. Alright. Time counter taken off of the suspended Crashing Footfalls. Looks like we have the crack of the Engineered Explosives. Land for turn and passing. Land for turn and passing. Dauthi Voidwalker cast. Looks like we have a fetch and response. Taking us to 12-7. And looks like Dead has been cast. Half of Dead gone. Targeting the Dauthi Voidwalker. And the response of Not Dead After All. Here for Scam. Bringing it back with a Wicked Roll token attached. Passing the turn here. Interesting position here for the Scam player as Crashing Footfalls will come off suspend here on the next turn. Looks like that's an attack in with the Dauthi Voidwalker. See if there were effects before combat. And yes, there was, in fact, casting Ice to tap down the target permanent and draw a card before the attack can be made. There at the end of the opponent's main phase. Alright, Crashing Footfalls coming down. Off suspend. 2 4/4 Rhinos. A draw for turn. There we are. Another Dead gone. In this case, just casting the gone side. Returning it to its owner's hand. Pretty good response here to get to avoid the scam card specifically keeping the Dauthi Voidwalker in play, instead of killing it, returning it to its hand. And that'll do it. Cascade Rhinos takes down Rakdos Scam. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week with another video. Feel free to like and subscribe. We do appreciate it. And watch our video from last week, where it was Lannis combo versus Merfolk. Thank you again for watching. This has been MTG Scoundrels. We'll see you next week.